Hi, if you're watching this video, you're a brand new drummer trying to get out of the basement or the garage and onto the stage, and I think I can help. My name's Mike, and I'm from Deep South Texas. I've been playing drums for the past 31 years of my life, and for some reason I've nailed every audition I've ever taken. Now, it's not because I'm a technical drummer, it's not because I have blazing fast speed, and it's definitely not my looks. I think it's all the principles I've picked up along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes, but it's all common sense, and I made a list. I call it Drummer Code. If you follow these principles, I think you're going to get every gig that you audition for as well. So come along and join me in Drummer Code. So before we start, let me just say that I am not an instructor, I'm not a professor, I'm not a famous drummer. I'm just like you, somebody that wanted to play drums and worked at it and has been doing so for a long time. Now, let's start with how it all began. As a kid, my dad was in a band, a Mexican regional band. And I used to go to his gigs and practices, and I fell in love with the drums. I used to sit behind the drummer and grab whatever he had, cowbell, whatever instrument he had, and I'd play along with him, or at least I thought so. Apparently I was terrible. I was throwing him off time. He would get very upset at me and yell at me. I'd go tell my dad, and of course the band leader, and they'd go back and yell at the poor drummer. And I was, between 5 and 8 years old, I was doing that. So that, right off the bat, right then and there, is where principle number one, drummer code number one, comes to play. And that's desire. I really wanted to start playing drums, so what I would do, just like all of you I'm sure have done, you go home, you get your mom's Tupperware, and you beat on that, you beat on boxes, you beat on pillows, and just pretend like you're playing drums. It was just a lot of fun. And of course, that's the very beginning. Now, drummer code number two, something that I didn't do. I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to play drums. But it's very important. Drummer code number two, lessons. You're going to want to take lessons. Go to a music store. I'm sure that they have lessons there. If not, you can go to Yelp or online and just search drum instructor. I think they have some that will show up to your house and teach you the rudiments, the basics. Take lessons. That's something I never did. It's something I always wanted to do and something I should have done, but never did. Moving on to drummer code number three, passion. Now the real passion came when I was a little bit older. I went to junior high school. I'd been wanting to play those drums for a while. Always asked my parents to buy me the drums. They never did. And maybe some of you have gone through that to where your parents don't think you're serious enough. Drums is a pretty expensive instrument. And if you're not serious, it could be a big mistake. You end up asking your parents to buy you the drums, and you end up not playing it, then you have to sell them for less money than you purchased them. So going back to junior high, I found out that there was a band, so I go early before school started that one summer and talked to the band director and said, "Hey man, I want to play drums." So he had me sit down in front of him, and he had me play out some little cadences on the table, basically to mimic what he was doing. I thought I did a heck of a job. Apparently I didn't, because he decided I should play the baritone. Now, I don't want to diss baritone players, but have you seen that? That's like a little tuba, the ugliest thing. It's terrible, at least for me. So I ended up playing baritone for pretty much my whole junior high life. And I hated it. I couldn't stand it, but I was pretty good at it. Okay? So then we changed band directors every year when I was in junior high. And in 8th grade, I finally got through to one band director, and I had asked him, and I kept asking him, "Hey, can I, teach me to play the drums?" Well, I had become so good at the baritone that there's a local, I don't know what you call it out in the world, in other parts of the world, but here locally, it's called All Valley. And what they do is they create an ensemble of all the best players from all the schools in the entire region. And he wanted me to play baritone and try out for this All Valley deal. So he was smart. He says, "Hey, I tell you what, if you play and make it to All Valley, I will buy a drum set and we'll start a jazz band and I'll teach you how to play. So I was all in. Definitely, I was all in. So I practiced and practiced and practiced and got ready for this. And it wasn't because I wanted to make All Valley for the baritone reason. It's because he told me he was going to buy me the drum set, or buy the drum set for the school. So I really worked hard at it. Day came for the competition. We all get together in a bus. We show up, 40, 50 miles away from where our school was at. And the competition starts. And we're in line. Baritones are in line. And I'm next. And I reach into my case to get my music, and I forgot it at school. I left it in my locker. So I didn't know what to do. I totally froze. I was up next. I turned to my left to the guy standing next to me, and I pleaded with him. I said, man, I totally forgot my music. Can I borrow yours? And right off the bat, he said no. And my fault, that's drummer code number 4. Always be prepared. Make sure you have everything, your sticks, your drum throne, your mics, everything you need to play. Be sure you have it. Well, I asked him again, and he said no. Now, this is where my drummer code number 5 comes into play. Don't be a jerk. Now, he didn't have to. He definitely didn't have to do it, but, he did. I don't know how I did it, and this is where 5.5, drummer code 5.5 comes into play, negotiations. I'm terrible at negotiating these days, but for whatever reason, I was able to get him to give me his music, to loan me his music. And they call my name. I walk in, I sit down, I set up my music. They tell me, open up to page 17 and let's start playing. So I open up the page, and it's treble clef. I don't know treble clef. I learned bass clef, baritone. So as soon as I opened it up and they start counting, I'm looking at this page. It looks like a foreign language. I have no idea what's going on. Lo and behold, it was over with. The day was over. Everybody got together. Everybody from the school got together. And we go, because they post the results on the wall. And I made it. I made All Valley. I was so happy. I knew I was going to get the drums. I was finally going to get to learn how to play. Everybody else, all my other friends, did not make it. And this is where drummer code number 6 comes into play. Be humble, because I didn't care about their feelings. I was hooping and hollering, and it was pretty cruddy of me. And I hurt a lot of people's feelings, but by the end of the day, I apologized. I learned a very valuable lesson. I've never done it again. Till this day, I've never done that, because it's a pretty crappy thing to do. So I was excited. We left. It was a Saturday. We left. I show up to school on Monday, and drummer code number 7 comes into play. Keep your word. I did what I was going to do, and now I was going to go talk to the band director so we could talk about what color drums I wanted, what sizes, and all that good stuff. And he basically blew me off. I never got my drums. Drummer code number 8, get everything in writing. It was a verbal contract with a teacher and myself, a student, but he totally screwed me. I made All Valley, and I never got the drums. So I ended up playing in that band for the holiday season. We did a Christmas ensemble, and it was time to move on to high school, and that's a whole other story, and we'll touch on that on the next episode. So drummer code from 1 to 8, you just learned them. And like I said, these are things that are going to help you in the long run. These are principles and tips and techniques that I've personally used in my life to get gigs. Now, I'm not saying it's the only way. I'm not saying this is law. It's what I did. So if you don't agree with it, I understand. Don't watch. If you're a professional, if you're an advanced drummer and you've been playing for several years, or you have other ideas of principles I can put into my drum code, let me know. Drop in, a comment down below. If you're enjoying this, I'm going to be doing these every Monday. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Let people that are interested in getting gigs, getting out of the garage, getting out of basements, getting into bands, To me, it's pretty knowledgeable stuff that I have, and if I can make your journey to playing in a band easier than mine was, then that's what I want to do, and that's why I'm creating Drummer Code. Until next time, I'll see you. Keep playing the drums and beat them like they owe you money.